behind my back. Won't be long till you share it in a group chat. And when I call you up, you're gonna backtrack. And you should've kept my name out your mouth. Fast feet, though, how it all turned out. When you try to use my name for a clout, keep on going, give me something you can talk about.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing this fine Saturday, November 22nd, 10:32 a.m. I really need to make my live stream about the Milagro Cooper, the Megan Pete, the Stallion Burst Milagro Cooper Grams situation. But my brain is not like fully functioning as far as doing all that legal analysis at this moment, especially considering there's been a little bit of I guess I shouldn't be surprised. There's been a little bit of interpersonal disagreements between people who were over there at the trial, and I do want to get into a little bit of analysis and my feelings on that. So I'm going to say that live for hopefully later today. Every time I say that I'm going to do 2 lives in a day, it's like, hit or miss. Who knows if I'm going to do that? Because I do have some other stuff to do as we're getting ready for the holiday season. As you can tell, it's basically the North Pole over here. As you can tell, I've done some extreme renovations back there. I put up some lights and a supposed tree. You can't really tell what it is though back there. That's the tree. It's pre-lit. And then that's the lights over there. Anyway, yeah, so I have something else I want to talk about, and it is the ADAM16, and it turns out I guess he got that name for a reason. ADAM16, 22 Grand Mason of Nashua, he had hosted what appeared to me to be, frankly, just a desperate grab for clicks and likes. I don't think this Brandon the Boochie, the bear character works on No Jumper or for No Jumper anymore. Strictly speaking, maybe he does. I don't really know. I don't, like I always say, I don't keep track of their employment contracts or anything like that. But, go birds. I'm just wearing like a t-shirt today because it's Saturday. It's my Saturday outfit. Okay. So the debate is long. All right. Let me show you the thumbnail and all that. I ain't freaking reacting to this whole debate. It would take me, I don't know, months to do it. It's like 2 hours something long. This is it right here at the top. 3 days ago, and it's only got 33,000. 3 days ago, and it's only got 33,000 views. I mean, this video I'm making right now might get 33,000 views, just a reaction to one clip of it. So, I mean, I would say, and I think it's safe, in my opinion, it's safe to say it flopped. The political debate flopped. And they, in my opinion, are using this Brandon the Boochie, the bear character because generally he comes on there, he says some foul and unbelievable, vile, unforgivable things that nobody should be saying, in my opinion. And usually it gets a lot of, clicks and views, and then it drives more traffic to the channel because everybody, all the little commentators and things are talking about it. Now, there is something else going on in this No Jumper universe that I want to talk about too eventually, but I do want to just put a little pin in it here so you aren't surprised when I do talk about it. My cousin over there at Point and Shoot has made another video, and it's not about Brandon the Boochie the bear. It's actually, it is still in the No Jumper universe, but it's about Poetic Falaco, and they have over there, Poetic Flacco over there has written a book. Come to find out, it's 3 pages, 3.5 pages long, the book, double spaced. And it's about how to get views and clicks and stuff on YouTube. It's just all kinds of things going on over there. But that being said, this is the debate, the so-called debate. And I believe that ADAM22 Grand Mason just, he just likes to get a click, get a view. We all know that he has declared previously that No Jumper is in financial straits, is in financial disarray, maybe is going to have to be going bankrupt and all of that. And so I think it flopped. I think the debate flopped. It has 33,000 views, and it was live streamed 3 days ago. So, to set up the debate, it's a political debate. Again, this Brandon the Boochie, the bear guy, I think, look, I don't know. I don't want to, misspeak. If this isn't correct, somebody correct me. He can come correct me. I'll pin it in the comments. From what I understand, he's more like right leaning. I think he's like a conservative. He would consider himself to be a conservative. Shout out to the cousins from West Virginia. Y'all better watch out for those dog men. I heard they running wild this year. In West Virginia, Kentucky, and all this Appalachia, they have like creatures that roam the night. I don't, if y'all don't believe it, go out and sit out there at nighttime and watch one come get you. But y'all got to be careful of them creatures. I heard they're in high numbers this year. To the cousins in West Virginia, it takes us all. We got to keep y'all around. Please stay inside. Look, Sarah Tedder, you ever saw the dog man outside? You ever saw the dog man or the thing with the yellow eyes standing outside in the yard? Because I've heard the stories. Now, I didn't grow up in Appalachia, so I didn't see them myself. We have the tatai and the rougarou, so that's a different thing. That's swamp people. That's swamp monster dogs and stuff. So, Mothman is in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. I'm telling you, they have the creatures. They have the creatures over there. Stay inside. Stay inside. If you leave them a little bowl of something down at the end of the driveway, a quarter mile away, they'll probably be nice or something. That's what I heard. I don't know. I'm kind of superstitious with that stuff. But when you grow up on the bayou, when you grow up in the country, you grow up in rural areas, like you have to explain it to me. Anyway, okay. So back to what we're talking about. So Brandon, the Boochie the Bear, he has his own content, like creating like persona at this point, like his own channels and stuff, I think. And I don't like him. I'm going to just lead it with that. I don't like him. Okay. I don't like him. I rebuke, actually. Where's my bell? In fact, and indeed, I rebuke. And there's Rissy. Sarah said they got some interesting creatures. Yep. So if you remember why I'm rebuking him, maybe you do, maybe you don't, but he is he's the one that got the African, what was it called? Soul of Africa, Spirit of Africa. Something like that. It was a book that purported to have magical spells in it to do all kinds of things, whatever. In and of itself, okay, fine. But the guy, back to the creatures in New Jersey. On No Jumper, exactly, New Jersey. I see NJ and I think New Jersey. Yeah, back to the creatures. The rougarou and the tatai on No Jumper. Okay. Because I don't even like Brandon, the Boochie the Bear. I rebuked him and I rebuke him again today. He was the one that went and bought that book and he was like, y'all didn't even know, like the African uncle at the store, the African, shopkeeper. He called him African, not me. He said he was even telling Brandon the Boochie the Bear not to buy it. I came in on I rebuke. She said I came in on I rebuke and I knew I was in the right place. I do rebuke. And so Brandon, he already went out and he was like casting spells or doing something from that book. I don't know. And I don't mean to diminish it or demean it in any way. Actually, in fact, and indeed, I don't mess with that stuff. No, thank you. No, thank you. Not for me. No, thank you. So he was doing stuff. He was like, I did this stuff in the book. The guy at the store was even telling me not to buy it, whatever. And I'm just like, okay, something's wrong with him. And I rebuke and I still rebuke ever since. And also, I just want to say, I don't really agree with anybody who's like so strongly on one side of the political aisle or another. Cause like eventually if your loyalties lie to a side, like I'm going to be agreeing with the capital R Republicans or the capital D Democrats every time. Eventually you're not going to be allowed to think freely because it's just not possible that you're going to agree with everything that a huge group of people agrees with. I like a free thinker myself. I like a person who's thinking free. Now that doesn't mean you can't be registered. Obviously, sometimes even to vote, you got to be registered as one or another. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people that like, no matter what evidence is in their face, no matter what's going on, only thing they can do is just toe the party line is what they call it. And I'm not interested. However, that's their right to do. They could do that if they want. Now, it seems as though Brandon the Boochie the Bear is one such type of person. And it also seems as though because he has in the past received positive reinforcement. That's the word I'm looking for. Positive reinforcement, on these types of behaviors in the form of clicks and views, then I think he just keeps on digging in. You know what I mean? He doubling down, digging his heels in, as it were. So I don't really like him. I actually, in fact, and indeed rebuke him. And generally, I don't agree with him because I find him to be a bit of an extremist. I don't find him to be truly a thoughtful or a free thinker. I think he's a troll and an extremist. Okay. Now, I do want to say all these things up front because in this debate, I'm going to end up agreeing with a lot of stuff he says. So I just want to put it out there. I am no fan of Brandon the Boochie the Bear. But even a broken clock is right twice a day, or whatever the saying. So everyone's talking about their local, their local swamp monsters. There's, there's the Jersey Devil. In South Louisiana, we have the Rougarou and the Tatai. It's the Tatai, not the Tatai. That's two different T's, but you know what it is. And in Appalachia, Kentucky, West Virginia, Tennessee, these places, they got mountain creatures. And it's like regional mountain creatures. And you got to stay inside your house at nighttime because it's crazy out there. And it's ghosts. It's all kind of crazy stuff. And I rebuke. But anyway, Wendy said they look like Skinwalker. I don't even want to know what that is. I ain't looking it up. But I've heard that before, Skinwalker. Jason, that's probably because you're staying inside. Anyway, so it's not just the lore, there's like local legends. Okay. If you never saw them, that maybe you don't have that ability to see them. I don't know. Anyway, hold on. Anyway, so ADAM22 Gray Mason, I also don't like too much. Okay. We have our own personal history or whatever. So before I even start with this video, I'm gonna let you know I'm biased. I don't like any of these people. Actually, this one right here with the curly hair, I don't know who he is. That's why I put down in the thing down below some other guy, some other dude. I never heard of him in my life. Maybe I saw him one time on a No Jumper or something, but I don't know him. I don't know any of these people, but I don't know who he is. But so the way that the debate was supposedly set up, and shout out to my cousin Neem. I did link this video in the description box down below. My cousin Neem, this is how I found out. This is how I found out about this No Jumper debate even happening. My cousin Neem did a video about it. It's called Brandon Violates ADAM22 on No Jumper. Quote, you are a PDF protector. Okay, well, that's interesting. Interesting allegation indeed. And again, this is Neem, I believe quoting Boochie the Bear, who we're going to get into momentarily. And so here is the debate. Now, the debate is very intense. It's a live debate. And what I will say is Adam is supposedly supposed to be the moderator, and he's obviously also the one who's going to be getting money off of this endeavor because it's his platform. I don't know if I've never seen their employment contracts. I've never seen, any of these people's agreements with him. I don't know if they get paid. I don't know if they get paid, how much they get paid, et cetera, et cetera. So they might be doing this pro bono volunteering. But we're going to start. I don't know how long this segment goes. It's just a few minutes, but I want to start at the beginning so y'all can see how they and just show you the beginning, intro part. So y'all can kind of see how this thing is being set up. It's supposed to be ADAM22 Grand Mason is the moderator. Okay. And Boochie, Brandon the Boochie the Bear, that's him right here on the right. Remember, he's supposedly the Trump supporter, the conservative, in my opinion, I believe he is a little bit extremist because he doesn't, he only toes the party line. And in my opinion, that's extremism. When you can't think for yourself because you're in a cult or a gang or a political party or whatever you want to call it, that's telling you what you have to think and telling you what you have to say. I think that's extremism. I don't like it. Now, this guy on the left, don't know who he is. Don't know him from Adam. He looks like perhaps maybe he was, I've seen him before on No Jumper. I think I might have seen him sitting on the couch before or whatever. I've watched maybe 10 total minutes of this 2 hour and 13 minute long supposed political debate that ended up being a total flop. I mean, it was 3 days ago. Couldn't even break 35,000 on a platform with almost 5 million subscribers. Interesting to say the least. But this guy on the left, I will say, even though I don't know his name and stuff, there, Moose Moose is what they're calling him. They all have these silly little names, including Boochie. Oh my God, please. One of them's name's the Big Deal. I had to change his name to Big Whoop. Big deal to who? Fix my blanket. It's getting cold. Okay. So this guy on the left, what I will say, this is a long, long, long debate. And the only thing I'm going to be really talking about today is this one like PDF supposed defender situation. So I'm not going to be talking about everything else that they debate about. I will say throughout this debate, from the 10 minutes I watched, just skipping around, there's definitely other issues I agree with this guy on, and I do not agree with him on. Okay, they talk about everything. They talk about everything from voting, voter ID, immigration, taxes, income. They talk about everything. So I don't agree with Brandon the Boochie the Bear on everything. But I'm going to tell y'all in this video what I do agree with him on, okay, because it's just deplorable and it's just despicable. Okay, so let me start the video from like the beginning. I'm going to put it on 1.25 speed, so it's going to be going a little bit faster. The name of the video is Brandon and Moose do an intense political debate live, and if y'all want to go check that out on No Jumper, you can do so at your own risk. Again, as usual, and as always, please not send any hate to anyone mentioned this video. This video is meant to report on the news and to report my opinion on matters of public concern, which have been thrust into the public spotlight by Adam by putting it on his channel with 5 million or 4.93 at the time million subscribers. Okay, so let me turn the captions on and I'm going to let y'all see the setup of this debate. Now, Adam is supposed to be the moderator. If you've never debated before, I don't guess you really had to have debated before to know what a moderator is, but like a moderator of a debate is somebody that is supposed to keep it fair, make sure no one party isn't over talking the other party, make sure that if there are rules that he or she enforces the rules. The moderator will often be the person to ask the questions of the debate. So we're going to start at the beginning, just so you can get the beginning, like the vibe of how it starts off. And then we're going to fast forward to about the 1 hour, 6 minute mark where I want to start talking about this PDF supposed protecting and defending situation. Okay.
Adam lied, told me he was going to send me. Are we live?
We're live? Okay, one request, minimal profanity to start.
I don't use a lot of profanity. It's going to be all truth, no profanity. First, let's start off that Adam lied, told me he was going to send me a list of the debate topics. He didn't do that. He instead asked Moose, what would he like to...
So, the first word of the video, Brandon the Boochie the Bear waits for the guy or whoever, the producer, to be like, okay, action or whatever. And he's like, Adam lied. He said he was going to send me a list of topics that we were going to discuss, and he did not do so. He lied. It was lies. And Adam's like, trying to jump in and like basically like, that like cop splain, mansplain, whatever, like narcissist splain. Like this guy's trying to get like, okay, as soon as the cameras start rolling and it's live, Brandon the Boochie the Bear is like, Adam lied. And so Adam's like, please use minimal profanity. It's like when you're watching those auditing videos with like Long Island Audit or whatever, it's like, the cops just like have to tell you something. Be careful. Make sure you don't like they just have to give you some order before you leave. Like before he leaves, they just have to be like, make sure you make sure you don't this, that, and the other. And it's like, he wasn't going to do that. Shut up. You just wanted to tell him what to do one time. So Adam lied. Is what Boochie the Bear is saying.
About and then didn't even share that with me, but we already know he's biased. The veil of what's the guy's name, Darth Sidious, it's already lifted, so we don't have to pretend to be Luke Skywalker. We don't know, so that's fine. You're still gonna lose for sure. You're gonna still try to help him, but you're probably as ill-informed as he is, so it won't matter.
So if somebody does say they're going to send you the topics, I would probably be like, well, I'm not going to do the debate until you send me the topics. Like, why did Brandon the Boochie the Bear even sit down to do this debate if the rules are already not being followed? That doesn't show any good faith at all whatsoever. And so I'm like, hold on. All right. good to know. But so I guess Brandon the Boochie the Bear doesn't know what the topics are going to be. Now, I haven't watched this whole video, but I can guarantee you I would have been able to accurately predict at least 5 of the topics they were going to talk about. But he's saying, you know, I didn't get the list like I was promised for this debate, but it doesn't matter. I'm still going to win. And he is supposed to be debating not ADAM22 Gray Mason of Nashua. No, he's supposed to be debating that other guy, Moose, with the curly hair. So, Moose also apparently, according to Boochie the Bear, is of Mexican descent, Mexican heritage. Shout out to Mexico. Shout out to the Mexican cousins in the chat. It's like one of my favorite places in the whole world is like Mexico. I love Mexico. I love Mexican people. I love people of Mexican heritage. So shout out to them. Shout out to Mexican cousins in the chat. Shout out to y'all. But so like, okay. And then they have this white man moderating, which for me personally, like, I don't really get too in the weeds on all this, like, you know, this person can't talk about this or can't do this because race, this and that. I don't like that. Personally, it's my personal opinion. It's my personal way of life, but it is of note because they do talk about racial issues in this debate, you know, if you could call it a debate. Okay, so let's see. He's like, I'm still gonna win. He said the way that they chose the topics was that Adam, the supposedly neutral moderator, right? He's supposed to be neutral. Moderators are supposed to be neutral. It's like one of the few things that's required for the job of moderating a debate is neutrality. You have to at least on the surface from outward appearances pretend like you're being fair, and you're going to see Adam does not do that. I mean, that's my opinion. Y'all can tell me if I'm wrong, but
16 minutes late. I just want to let y'all know that's all this is he's late.
That's real.
And he's just trying to like preface this that you were late, bro. I was here on time.
He was studying.
If you're not here 10 minutes early, then you late. And you was here 30 minutes late, technically, if we going off that rule. So your little like monologue you're starting off with doesn't mean anything.
I was 15.
Because you're late.
I was 15 minutes late.
I'm from Sacramento, 6 hours away, and I got here on time.
I will say don't be late to stuff. You know, try your best to be on time to stuff. Just in general, I know it's a struggle. I'm late all the time, but like, you know, if it's going to be your big one, it's going to be your debate. And then he's like, you know, he's 15 minutes late, whatever. I don't think you got to be 15 minutes early to be on time, but like, you know, 15 minutes early is a good window, whatever. So the reason I paused it is, well, twofold. One, you can see there's been some more renovations with my cousin Neem calls it a Tetris desk. They got these new desks. I think the new desks are better. I appreciate that they took my advice and zoomed the camera up a little bit. Look, listen, nobody's advice on decor or clothing gets taken more than mine. And people don't want to give me the credit. I don't blame them. It's pretty embarrassing that your ops has to tell you how to make your set look better. They didn't take all my advice because that ugly ass, trippy ass, I don't even know I don't even want to call it a backdrop. It looks like such an afterthought. I can just imagine them in the parking lot spray painting it with stencils. It's just hideous. But you know what? Whatever. Who cares? But I was like, I'm tired of seeing these dudes' feet. I don't want to look at their feet. I did a whole shoe analysis, like it was a runway show. Now they have covered up the feet. Okay. They have done what I suggested they do. Bring that camera shot in, closer in, and cut the feet out. I don't need to see all these grown men's feet, to be quite frank. Especially once the summer months start rolling around, you know, they're going to be wearing flip-flops. You know, they're going to be wearing chanclas. You know, they're going to be wearing chappos. And so, no, I don't want to see grown men's toes with the hair on it on 4K or 1080, even 1080p on my 60 or 50 or 40. I don't even know what's inches or whatever inch screen downstairs. Okay. Like, I don't want to see man toes. I don't want to see women toes, but like, at least like we've been conditioned into like, if we're going to have our toes out, we like get a pedicure, you know, we make sure that, you know, it looks okay. These men, I don't want to see their feet in the summertime for sure. So I'm glad that they have fixed the angle of the camera. So I did want to do a slight, set analysis. I also wanted to pause it because this guy Moose on the left seems like already just like not really in good debate form. Now, if I was the debate captain, if I was the captain of his debate team, or if I were, you know, his debate coach, what I would say is you're coming out too strong. There's really no reason to mention Brandon the Boochie the Bear was late at all. But if you are going to mention it, you could have done it in a little bit more of a subtle way. So I'll teach y'all. This is a coaching session. This one's for free. But like, let's say Brandon the Boochie the Bear was like, yeah, I didn't even get the topics. if you really want to come across as the boss of the table in a debate setting, you would do something more along the lines of this. And this is for men. This could apply to women too. But I would say to this man right here, Moose. Okay, this is honestly, I should be paid tuition. People should pay me tuition for this free advice. Okay, so and I agree with him. You know what I mean? Like, I agree with Moose. I don't disagree with his sentiment on this point. You should be on time. I was here studying and you were late. I don't disagree with his point and his sentiment. You should be here on time, and I was here on time. So if you simply must get that in, you should say it maybe a little bit more something like, and if you like want to be, you know, the boss daddy of the room, which is what I assume they all want to be perceived as, the boss daddy of the room. So I'm gonna tell you how to do that. So first of all, body language. Outfit, he's dressed for a no jumper debate. That's fine. No problems there. Boochie, it's kind of clashing, but I'll let him wear it. I think that's his normal everyday attire. So good for him. First of all, I don't know if it's because he's nervous or what. His face a little red. He might be hot. It might be, you know, time to put a little tinted moisturizer on, because the thing about it is, for the people with a little less melanin, and again, I'm not saying he's white. I think he's Mexican or of Mexican origin or whatever. So, but I am white. I am white. The color of my foundation, I use white, like with a little bit mixed in of like almost white, like that. So there's certain precautions we have to take when we're going to be under these hot lights. Okay. You're going to look red. You're going to look red. Period. Now, he's obviously not, you know, white. He's Mexican or whatever, but he has less melanin. That's how it is. Look how red his cheeks are. And it makes you look nervous. It makes you look worked up, even if you're just hot, even if you're just a pink person. So, I mean, that's one thing I probably would have done, a little tinted moisturizer. And if you're going to say you were late, I was here on time. And Boochie the Bear is so mad about not getting the topics beforehand. And this guy, if Moose wanted to like set the tone as boss daddy, what he would have said was, yeah, I picked topics that I thought that you would want to debate about. I'm more than happy to reschedule this debate so that you can get all your notes in order. It would have been nice if maybe you got here on time. You could have known you got here 15 minutes late. If you were here on time, you could have known the topics as well. I mean, you had a lot of opportunities, but look, I mean, won't you pick a topic? Because I don't need you sitting here trying to set the tone like I have some type of unfair advantage, because I'm going to win this debate. And I really don't need any unfair advantage. I don't need any advantage, unfair or fair. So if you don't like the topics, or if you would like a little bit more time to study Boochie the Bear, just say that. There's no reason to get all up in arms over it. You know, like that would be like a little bit more alpha-fied. And look, listen, the reason for doing a debate is to win it. Okay. Nobody's sitting over here just debating for fun. You debate for fun so that eventually you're good enough to win. Okay. So that's what I would say. That's my critique. And I don't really like any of these people. This one on the left is the one I know the least about. So and if anything, you're welcome for telling you what to do next time. Okay, let's see if what else they're gonna say here.
I was 15 minutes late.
Bro?
I was 15 minutes late. I informed Josh 30 minutes before that I would be 15 minutes late. Actually, I said I would be 20 minutes late, but I'll probably get there early.
That's
I got
the
here.
start of that.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
nobody heard that novice.
well, guess what?
Your Jewish buddy.
Yeah, your Mossad handler.
Well, I
also
sent it. Okay, so let's bet $100 that if you open your Instagram right now, there's not a message saying that I'm going to be late 20 minutes.
And
Do
we
you
all
want to
know
bet?
the best way
Hey, wait a
to
minute.
reach Adam is by his DM.
Chewy,
Everybody knows the best way to reach
chill.
yeah.
Let's get the truth first.
You want me to find out?
Just go into Instagram, go into messaging, click that screenshot where I literally said I would be 15 minutes late. Bro, I'm a professional, bro. You used to deal with
You're
gangbangers and
Okay.
drug
What are you
addicts.
talking about? I'm a professional. You were late. That's not what
15
professionals
minutes
do.
ago, you sent me a screenshot of you telling Josh that you were going to be late.
Wait,
I did not see
It
that.
actually was not 15 minutes ago,
At
but
12:27.
Okay, they're off to a terrible start. I'll say that. They're off to a terrible start. It's just too much cortisol. Too much cortisol. I was going to say too much testosterone, but it might be the opposite problem. I don't know. They might need to get their levels checked. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. Okay, let's go to about the hour and 6 hour. We'll go. This is the 1 hour, 5 minute, 49-second mark. And I will tell y'all, if it's not obvious, this content, this topic they're about to be debating about is something that is, you know, it's a serious topic. And it's about people underage. So if y'all, you know, just be warned. I haven't had time to, obviously I'm watching it straight from their channel. So I haven't had the time to go through and edit this and take out certain edits and words and things. Like, this is just the raw, like, this is, they did this live and I'm reacting to it. Okay.
It's like
no one is saying Trump did anything.
I know, but it's their word versus their word. Why not release the files?
He's calling for it to be released.
He ran on this and then he reneged.
He's
Why
calling.
did he do that?
I just told you.
Why did
I not just answer that question?
Because they said that he wasn't in the files.
You're arguing a point that no one's arguing.
Why even bring this up? This is to make
I just told you.
look bad.
I just told you for political gain. I just said
and that's
that.
okay with you.
Okay.
To protect pedophiles.
So obviously they're like an hour into this debate at this point. They've been debating. The cortisol was through the roof, even in the first moments. Through the first moments, the cortisol was through the roof. It doesn't appear as though these guys on both sides of the Tetris desk even like each other. Even from the first moments, he's like, you're late. And I think they do largely disagree with each other over political issues. Now, it seems as though we've just dropped a house right in the middle of their debate on the, you know what, files. Should they be released? Should they be redacted, et cetera, et cetera. Please do not debate about it in my comment section. That's not what we're here for today. But what I'll tell you is release them. Release the crack and release the files, release the whole thing. I want to know, I want to see. But that's because I don't have any loyalty to any politician. I don't have any loyalty to any political side. I have loyalty to the people. We the people, us the people, we them people. Us. That's who my loyalty is to. Okay. And then after that, you know, first my loyalty is to the Lord. Obviously, that I think goes without saying. And then the people, and then, you know, of all the world. But then, you know, specifically, I'm very concerned about my country that I was born in. I feel like I have civic duty and responsibility to the country I was born in. So, you know, kind of somewhat in that order. And then foreign terrorist states are way down. So if we're trying to protect foreign terrorist states, like I'm no, release them. I want to see. I want to know. I want everybody to see, you know. So that's my personal opinion. I wouldn't debate about it. There's very few things I would debate about, and there's very few people I would debate. A lot of my views and opinions are not up for debate. Like, if I change my mind on them, I change my mind on them. If I'm confronted with new, different information, y'all have seen me change my mind many times, and I'll continue to do so about stuff. That's like a sign of a developed frontal lobe, by the way. A sign of a properly developed frontal lobe is being able to change your mind when confronted with new information. Okay, so they're arguing about the Epstein files. I am on the side of this guy right now, Moose. He's like, why can't we just release him then? Your guy ran on it. We all remember when he was like, we're gonna tell everybody that, you know, the Epstein, but whatever, like, we're gonna get rid of these predators. He's been tweeting about getting rid of predators in Hollywood and tweeting about getting rid of predators in DC for like 15 years. So yeah, why all of a sudden it was a bit of a switch up. So I agree with this guy right now, you know, and like I said, I would go back and forth to agree with this one, agree with that one, but I pretty much didn't expect to agree with Brandon the Boochie the Bear on anything. I didn't even know this freaking debate existed. I wouldn't have watched it. It was my cousin Neem that was talking about it. So that's why I wanted to get to this part. But they're talking about the files at this point. And it's going to lead into right around like right now, like in the next few seconds, it's going to lead into the part that I really want to show y'all. But for context, like, this is what's leading into it. This is what they were talking about before.
Yeah, because what we have to accept in this country is that
in the files,
you're arguing a point that no one's arguing.
Why even bring this up? This is to make
I just told you.
look bad.
I just told you for political gain. I just said
that's
that.
Okay with you. To protect pedophiles for political gain.
Yeah, because what we have to accept in this country is that
pedophiles might be your homie. That's what he's saying.
What we have to accept in this country, the difference is you're going to operate with a level of hypocrisy. I'm not, because you care so much about pedophiles. You're defending Democrats who literally are enabling and protecting pedophiles in our own state.
That's not true.
Okay, wait a minute.
The interpretation of that law.
Can you stop talking? Can you stop talking?
To
Can you
protect
stop talking?
An 18-year-old relationship.
Can you stop talking? No, it's not. No,
yes, it is.
Listen, the bill makes it a felony for people who want to buy.
Did I go too far up? Let me go back to in the transcript here. Let me see. Single woman interviewed, victim of Epstein. Okay. Yeah, so I guess where we are is fine. But they're talking about, Brandon the Boochie the Bear is talking about a law. They may have mentioned the law before in this debate or whatever, but I'm just going to start here. 1 hour, 6 minutes, 45 seconds. They're talking about a law that was supposedly put in place or going to be put in place And then supposedly Democratic lawmakers, again, y'all, I don't have a political side. It's not coming from me. Oh, Democrats doing this, Republicans doing this. I think they all freaks. I think every last single one of them is compromised. And I think if you're not compromised, they get rid of you. That's my opinion. And it's not really up for debate. That being said, what's being argued here is that there's this law that specifically Democrat lawmakers stopped in its tracks because it was supposed to be a law about protecting children. It was supposed to be a law about if you try to buy, purchase, transact with money for 16-year-old, 15-year-old, 17-year-old, like basically, people who are not 18 years old, it's a felony. If you try to purchase, from a 16-year-old, it's a felony. Now, I'll remind you that ADAM22 Gray Mason earned the colloquial nickname Adam 16 years ago. Okay. And that's because apparently in Canada or something, wherever he was, the legal age of consent was 16. And I don't even want to get back into that lore, but like this is an area, this is a sore subject. This is a sore spot for Adam 16. And you would think that he would have learned his lesson and be like, all right, now, yeah, we just shouldn't be doing that.
Who literally are enabling and protecting pedophiles in our own state.
That's not true.
Okay.
Wait
a minute.
The interpretation of that law.
Can you stop talking? Can you stop talking?
To
Can you
protect
stop
17
talking?
and 18-year-old relationship.
Can you stop talking? No, it's not. No,
Yes,
it's not.
it is.
Listen, the bill makes it a felony for people who want to buy minors.
It's not buy.
Can you please look this
It's
up,
not
please?
buy.
Let's look at.
What is
I don't want you to.
It's making it a felony.
I don't want you to interrupt.
For soliciting minors.
For the sake
It
of
says
clarity, California House Democrats block bill to make buying 16 and 17-year-old girls for sex a felony.
And because they're saying that.
Okay. I'm going to look it up. I'm going to look that article up because why not go straight to the source? California Democrat lawmakers stop bill felony 16, 17-year-old. That's not just typed in. KCRA. This is from May. Hold on. California Democrats block another attempt to ramp up penalties for solicitors of 16 and 17-year-olds. What? Okay, I'm going to read the article, but this sounds pretty freaking bad. Let's just read the article so that we can see for ourselves before these people keep screaming at each other. One more time. California Democrats block another attempt to ramp up penalties for solicitors of 16 and 17-year-olds. That says solicitors. That's people who are trying to purchase. Solicitation means to purchase, to transact. Not people who are dating 16 and 17-year-olds, which is still ew. Let's read the article. The fight over whether the consumers of the child ST industry should face tougher consequences when they buy 16 and 17-year-olds for continued at the California State Capitol Thursday. This was back in May. Most Democrats in the assembly rejected an attempt by Republicans to revive a proposal. Okay, so most Democrats rejected an attempt to revive, so to bring back to life, a proposal. Well, what was the proposal? Well, the proposal would make it an automatic felony to purchase the 16 and 17-year-olds for That seems like look, put a 1 in the chat if that seems like a good law to you. If you're trying to purchase a 16 or a 17-year-old for you should probably be convicted of a felony or at least charged with a felony. Then it can go to court. You can have your hopefully fair trial. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with this. Automatic felony. Automatic. It should be automatic. Oh, but what about the girls? What about the girls that lie? Then you shouldn't be so stupid as to get tricked by a 16-year-old. You stupid. You deserve a felony for being that stupid. If you cannot use your adult discernment to be able to tell that a 16-year-old is 16 or at least not 18, if you can't ask for an ID, you might need to do a felony, because think about the ramifications for that girl, that little girl, for the rest of her life. I mean, I know Aunt Heffy thinks people are fast and grown and thus they self into the lifestyle, but I don't think the frontal lobe is finished developing yet. I think the adults should be saying, go get back in your house, little girl. Go back home. No, they want to protect them. They need to punish them. Yes, they're not punishing enough. They're not punishing enough. That's why it keeps happening. Now, could somebody be 17 years old, lying, saying they're 18, got a fake ID, going through all these lengths? Maybe. But you still get to go to trial. This automatic felony doesn't mean you're automatically locked up. It means you're charged. You're charged. And now you have to defend yourself with why it is that you committed a per se crime, which is S relations with an underage person. Somebody said in California, age of consent is younger if it's people that are around the same age. That does happen. There's these like so-called Romeo and Juliet laws where it's like, the younger person in the relationship might be 16, the older person might be 18, but they've been dating since they're 14 and 16, which I think is still a little bit extreme personally. That's my personal opinion, but like maybe they still go to the same high school and they're both in high school. Like they have laws that take into account, one partner is 17 and one just turned 18, or one's 17 and one's 19. Like there are laws that do take this into account. It's not just California. But like on its face, this looks like a great law. I would need to read it. I would need to read the line by line, because a lot of times stuff starts looking like, oh, that would be great. And then you read it and it's nothing like what they're trying to advertise it as. The Free Act, anybody? But so far, so good, girl. I mean, most Democrats rejected an attempt for what? To revive a proposal that would make it an automatic felony to purchase 16 and 17-year-olds for S. What? Why did they do that? Why did they reject this? Imagine these freaks and creeps and disgusting oafs, buffoons and degenerates sitting around. I don't care if they Democrats. I don't care if they Republicans. The group of people, grown-up people who were like, no. We need to make it not a felony, just a misdemeanor. Just a misdemeanor to purchase a 16-year-old for S. What? We live in Sodom and Gomorrah, and nobody told us. That proposal was written by Democratic. Okay. Shout out to her. Shout out to Democratic Sacramento Assembly member Maggie Krell, because she's the one who proposed this law. A Democrat proposed this law, and her fellow Democrats blocked the proposal. So she was doing something pretty bipartisan, in my opinion. Shout out to her. Let me give you your flowers, Maggie Krell, for this one thing. You might be a terrible person. I don't know. Never looked into her, nothing like that, but good for her for that. She spent 2 decades investigating HT and was a prosecutor for the California Department of Justice before being elected to the assembly last year. She filed AB 379 this year that would restore some loitering for prostitution laws that were loosened up in 2022, and the automatic felony for those who buy or solicit 16 and 17-year-olds. Okay, so I did cover this in my Nova Part 1 documentary. Back in 2022, the laws were loosened up. They were kind of made more lax about loitering for prostitution. Used to be, if there was little teenage girls standing on the side of the street, Figueroa or whatever, the cops could pick them up and arrest them. The arrest usually ended up being they got put into a foster home or something like that, but it was to get them off the streets and not do prostitution. Now, look, listen, I know DHS, I know Department of Homeland Security, I know Department of Child Services and all that. That's picking, I don't know why I said Homeland Security, Department of Child DCS, DHC, whatever, Health and Child Service, CFS, what's the acronym for that? CPS. girl. CPS, Child Protective Services. I know Child Protective Services has their own issues. Truly, truly I do. But just because like there's issues at one place doesn't mean that we need to make it easier for 16 and 17-year-olds to stand out on the corner selling S. Okay. Because what do we know? What do we know from ATM Richie? ATM Richie said nobody's allowed to be a renegade, AKA nobody's really allowed to stand out there on their own. AKA really, if there's a 16-year-old out there, somebody's making her stand out there, and she or he has to turn in $800, $1,200, $16, whatever $100 by the morning, or else dog kennel cat food or whatever. Okay. So this is all coming from ATM Richie. I didn't make this up. Maybe he's lying. I don't know. I wasn't there. But the law in 2022 changed to make it to where the cops couldn't just pick up anybody staying on the side of the street, because what was happening, according to them, was there were people who were being unfairly or unjustly targeted based on their physical attributes and immutable characteristics like race. More people of color were getting picked up and brought to jail than white people or whatever. Now, I personally will let you know I did not see any stats. The only thing I saw was news reports by news sources which can be fallible, which can be pushing an agenda one way or another. So it's not hard for me to believe that was happening, but I just want to be very clear. I don't know if that was happening or not, but they made it to where like the little girls could just stand out there now. And this wasn't just little girls. Like anybody could be picked up. Like if the cops were patrolling and they saw somebody that looked underage, they would just use the loitering for solicitation of prostitution or whatever. They would use that law, but it was allowing them at least to get some of these children, mostly little girls, but probably also boys, up off the street. Well, this Democratic lawmaker is saying that was a cute idea. That was nice. We did that for 3 years. It didn't work. We need to bring back some of those. We need to bring back some of those like police powers to be able to pick these kids up. We need to be able to pick at least the kids up off the streets so that they're not being sold as slaves. We need to pick the child slaves off the street so they can, not be trafficked. I mean, I agree. Sorry, I do. I'm sorry, I do. Instead of reviving Krell's automatic felony proposal, the Democrats voted to strip the bill entirely on Thursday. She said, I don't care if my name is on the bill. I'll happily support it if it includes protections for 16 and 17-year-olds. She said during a debate on the floor, if you're 17 on a street corner and an old man purchases you for S, that's our word. And it should be treated as a felony, period. One more time, quote, if you are 17 on a street corner and an old man purchases you for S, that's our word. And it should be treated as a felony, and I agree. That person who walked up to Nova had the bold-faced, unmitigated gall and audacity to offer $60 for an S act should be arrested. Full force, full brunt. You working right now? I'll give you $60 for an S act she said she couldn't even do because it was painful. He should be arrested, and it should be a felony. Sick fuck. She was 14, by the way, 15, so it wouldn't even count the 16, 17. I don't know. The law is different for like ages. Now, that's not me saying that the crime is different, but the law does, like I said earlier, take into account different age brackets. Like a 16-year-old in some states can consent if the partner she's consenting or he's consenting to is also under the age of 18. But a 13-year-old in that same state cannot consent. No, there's no consent. No to nothing. No, you cannot. Once you're 16, if your partner's 16, that's not going to be a crime. But yes, it is if you send a picture. You know what I mean? So they do, in most jurisdictions, kind of take into consideration age brackets and the age of the perpetrator. But this lady is saying, if an old man picks up a 16 or 17-year-old, that's R. It's really unequivocal. No, they blocked it. It was a result of a series of political maneuvers by Democrats on Thursday morning meant to shield the caucus from being forced by Republicans to vote on specifically the automatic felony. The assembly gavelled into session an hour late as Democrats hatched a plan to respond to the Republican-led push. This is misleading too, because is it Republican-led if the author of the bill is a Democrat? They stripped the bill away from the Democrat and they were like, this is all the Republicans doing. It's like, wait, you just told me that a Democrat wrote this and put this proposal on. Thursday was Denim Day in the Assembly. Multiple sources told the news source we're reading right here, KCRA, that several Democrats didn't want to acknowledge Denim Day as planned to avoid the ST conversation. After about an hour of closed door meetings, most Democrats agreed to take the bill away from her, assign it to Assembly Public Safety Chairman Nick Schultz, and insert language into it stating that it's the legislators' intent to adopt policies that will protect 16 and 17-year-olds. Legal experts note the language means nothing and doesn't change the bill. Current law allows prosecutors to decide whether to charge solicitors of 16 and 17-year-old. As kids. You can't vote. You can't rent a hotel. You can't even buy a plane ticket. You maybe just got your driver's license. Okay, that's children. Currently, the way it's set up, prosecutors can decide whether to charge solicitors with a felony or a misdemeanor. The older teens, that's the 16 and 17-year-olds, must prove they are victims of ficking, unlike the 15-year-olds who trigger the automatic felony. Some Democrats have been concerned about how the stricter penalties could impact 18-year-olds who have relationships or solicit older teens. So Democrats are concerned. Some Democrats are concerned, not the one who wrote this bill. She was not on this side with these people. They have concerns about the 18-year-old freaks who try to purchase S from 16-year-olds. I have concerns about them too. They should be in a cage. Others worry parents could use the punishment against their children if they do not approve their interracial or LGBT relationship. Well, listen to this. And this coming from a lady in an interracial relationship. Okay. If your interracial relationship depends on you soliciting S from a 16-year-old and you're older than 16 and you're older than the age of consent, which is 18, you should take your interracial relationship soliciting S to jail. If an LGBTQ relationship depends on one of them being over 18 and one of them being under 18 and one of them being 16, for example, and purchasing S, then that older one should be in jail. I don't give a shit if it's an interracial relationship or an LGBTQ plus relationship. What the hell? What the hell? What are they talking about? What the hell? They have the parents. Hold on. I actually support that. I support that. If you're a parent, you should be able to call the cops and say, there is a freak predator preying on my child. It shouldn't matter if it's an LGBT freak predator, a black one, a white one, a Mexican, it don't matter one, Indian, male, female. If they over 18 and you have a child 16 years old, you ought to be able to call the cops and say, come pick this freak up. And why does somebody that's in an interracial relationship get a special protection? Again, I'm in one. I promise you, nobody in my interracial relationship wants to solicit a 16-year-old. Don't bring us into this. Leave us out of this. Ugh. Leave LGBT people out of this. You trying to make it seem like LGBT people are somehow more likely to solicit a 16-year-old? Solicit means purchase. Sick. 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 It doesn't say intercultural. It says interracial. And if it's intercultural and your culture depends on abusing children, you need to be in a cage too. All that needs to be banished. I'm sick of this woke Olympics. I'll tell you that. State laws already provide penalties for trafficking, blah, 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 media spreading misinformation. It's important to understand 16 and 17-year-olds, minors of any age, that are contacted for an SUL purpose, that's punishable as a felony. We need that. The governor made a statement earlier this week. I agree wholeheartedly that with the governor's statement to the extent that it already states existing law. After the vote, he still plans to move forward with a special hearing on the issue. The assembly was committing to putting a solution on the governor's desk by the end of summer. We don't need more time. We don't need to study this anymore. We just need to change the law. That's what we need to do today. And unfortunately, a number of the Democrats continue this disparity when it comes to 16 and 17-year-olds. Why do y'all want 16 and 17-year-olds to be less protected when they're solicited for S? Even if it's an interracial solicitor, even if it's so the white old men that pick up the young black teenagers, 16 and 17, shouldn't get a felony. F that. Put their ass in a cage. In a cage. These sick Fs are saying the white man shouldn't be discriminated against by the black mother who wants the white man to go to jail for abusing her 16-year-old black child. What? Put another way, the black man, because he's black, should be allowed to abuse the Hispanic or Latino little girls on the street. Statutory R, because it's interracial. Aren't we so woke and accepting? Ting. No. Ugh. Ugh. That's how I feel about it. Sickos. They are sick. I mean, this is another one too, y'all. I love a culture. Y'all know I'm learning Sanskrit. I love learning about other cultures. I love having other cultures here. I like that we have all the best food in the whole world just right here within a 5-mile driving radius. I love it. I like learning languages. I like learning dances. I like learning traditions. But at some point, you're in the United States of America, and it's illegal to do this. If you don't like that, too freaking bad. You could go somewhere else or learn to not solicit minors. Those are your options. Whenever we as Americans travel to another country and we don't respect the local laws, what happens? We get arrested, we go to jail. Why is it that we have to put up with this depravity from another culture whenever our culture might say that we get to, play loud music going down the strip? If we go somewhere where that's not allowed and we do it, we get arrested and go to jail. So nobody else has given us all this special privilege. Any race. Nobody's given us special privilege for being an American, for being for another country. So why is it we got to say, oh, well, some cultures, solicit 16-year-olds. That's, it's their culture. Get the fuck out of our country then, you sick fuck. I mean, that's pretty much where I am with it. I used to be real, everybody, not with this issue, by the way. This is an issue I've always been very clear on. But, I used to be real like, oh, maybe no. There's laws here. We have laws. I ain't even trying to make new laws. These were already laws. They made them more lax for children to become easier targets. That is something I'm 10 and 11 and a half toes down on, and I'm never going to change my mind. The older I get, the more steadfast and determined I am with this mindset. The leader of the assembly, sick fuck Robert Rivas, sat quietly at his desk during the debate and did not rise to address the chamber that he leads. After the vote, these perverts handed out printouts of his written statements to reporters that said protecting children is among his priorities this year. Okay. All right. Okay. So this is what they're debating about, by the way. Okay. So we just read the article. Maybe you agree with my sentiments. Maybe you don't. But let me go back about 10 seconds and let's hear what these clowns are actually forming their mouths to say. Now, remember, do not forget, coming into this part of the debate, this guy right here, Moose, I agree. I agree with him. Coming into this part, right? I agree with him. He's saying release the files. I'm saying release the files. He's saying Trump ran on this issue. Why isn't he releasing the files? I agree with him. right? I agree with him. I agree with him so far. I agreed with his first point about Boochie shouldn't have been so late. I said his outfit was the best outfit for a debate of everybody. Okay. So far, so good. It's coming down crashing and burning.
House Democrats block bill to make buying 16 and 17-year-old girls for sex a felony.
And because they're saying that
I want you to let the truth.
overreach was too strong.
If
in the
you
bill,
know that,
they're saying that relationships for 18
if you're in a
to
relationship,
17-year-olds
if you
would
are
be in trouble, and they could lock up innocent people that are in consensual relationships.
Listen,
That's what their problem was.
If you are a person,
Wrong. First of all, I'm gonna stop right there. That's not what that article we just read said. It didn't say nothing about a relationship. What it said was soliciting, purchasing on Figueroa from the pimps. Child S slaves is what we're talking about. And let us be clear. Well, what about the people in a consensual relationship? Second mistake, idiot. You can't consent if you're under 18, idiot, pervert, sick fuck, sick freak, disgusting, degenerated buffoon. Can't consent. What the fuck are you talking about? Pardon my language. The 16-year-old in a consensual relationship with a 19-year-old? No, you can't consent to that. It's against the law, stupid. So what are you talking about? That's the second sick, disgusting lapse of understanding. And it's like, why are they so? Here's the thing. All of us were in high school. All of us were probably 17, and like somebody that was 18. All of us were maybe 18 and like somebody that was 17. And really, we were close in age. We were in the same grade, whatever the case may be. Sure. That is not what this law is talking about. It's talking about solicitation of minors. That's a totally separate crime from indecent exposure to a minor, which is a totally separate crime from carnal knowledge, which is a totally separate crime from sexual contact. Solicitation is its own thing. And these, I don't know if they're just stupid, but what I'm just so worked up about is the passion, the intensity with which this guy is defending blocking this bill, which would make it more serious of a crime to abuse a 16 and a 17-year-old. A consensual, now they're moving the goalpost that 16-year-olds can consent to relationships with adults. That's false. But this isn't about a relationship. It's about solicitation. It's about what that guy walked up to Nova doing. Let me give you $60 for some backdoors activities. She's 15. She's going to be 16 this month. Next month. Nova's almost 16. It's about to be less of a crime to solicit Nova right now than it would have been 2 weeks ago. That's not right. That's not right. We need to have a cutoff age and it's 18. I'd like it to be 21 personally, but that's puritanical, I guess. Stupid. Disgusting. It makes me ill.
That relationship with someone who's a year or two younger than you, you're not buying them for
relationships for 18
if you're in a
to 17-year-olds
relationship, if you
would
are
be in trouble, and they could lock up innocent people that are in consensual relationships. That's what their problem was.
If you are a person in a Romeo and Juliet relationship with someone who's a year or two younger than you, you're not buying them for sex moves. What you are doing right now is you're purposely trying to misrepresent what happened so you can protect Democrats. I'm not going to protect Republican pedophiles. That's why when you
literally just said it's not a big deal.
No, that's not what I said.
Yes,
I said what we have to accept is there's pedophiles on both sides,
and we shouldn't bring them to justice.
And we should.
Why don't you criticize Trump for not doing that?
I was criticizing Trump.
You just
and then the day after I criticized him, he called for the FC files to be released. But I want you to go back up.
I want you to say, okay, so yes, California Assembly Democrats initially blocked a bill provision that would have automatically made it a felony to buy sex from 16 or 17-year-olds. However, after significant public and political pressure, including from Governor Newsom, a compromise was reached and a new version of the bill was passed and signed. But the initial controversy was because—
Can we stop there? Wait, real quick.
The automatic felony provision—
Audience, this is liberals for you. The truth comes out and they automatically start explaining, but they're telling me I'm protected. Now watch as these two people protect and try to minimize this situation.
Does this not sound reasonable to you? concerns raised by some Democrats included potential unintended consequences, such as disproportionately targeting young adults ages 18 to 20 in consensual relationships with older teens 16 to 17.
Can you stop there?
Or potentially impacting minority and LGBT.
No. ADAM22 said, does this not sound reasonable to you? No, it doesn't, you sick fuck. It doesn't sound reasonable to me. It sounds disgusting. And it sounds like somebody who wants to have relationships with 16-year-olds and pay them for S. That's what it sounds like to me. I mean, the question is, does it not sound reasonable to you? My answer, if you're asking me, in my opinion, no, it doesn't. It sounds sick. You want to protect a 20-year-old to abuse a 16-year-old. No, it doesn't sound reasonable to me. Put a 1 in the chat if it also does not sound reasonable to you. If it does not sound reasonable to you, put a 1 in the chat. No, it doesn't sound reasonable to me. They want to protect. Disproportionately would affect 20-year-olds that abuse 16-year-olds. Good. Put them in jail. Lock them up. Throw away the key. I don't care. Abuse a child, lose your life as far as I'm concerned. Abuse a child should be a death penalty. It should be chemical castration of the testes and the phallus instantaneously. As soon as you're found guilty, bring out the vat of acid. Bring out the electric chair. Huh? That's what I think. I bet you real quick, all of a sudden, everybody'd be like, I don't want to mess with her. Because in the meantime, what we have is ADAM22 16 Grand Mason, who has his own allegations with 16-year-olds, who clearly doesn't think anything's wrong with it because he has his own allegations. I don't know. I wasn't there. But there's a lot of allegations out there that have been out there for years. That's why people call him Adam 16. It's reportedly why he lost his Atlantic Records imprint, because of his allegedly, reportedly inappropriate relations with children. Let's call it what it is. So no, it doesn't sound reasonable to me. It does not sound reasonable to me that because a sick predator happens to be of a racial minority, which I have news for y'all. Do you know white people are not the majority of race in this country? Because I was told for all these years it was a white majority country. It's not. Less than 50% of the people in this country are white. So we need to come up with, first of all, new words. Because minority is just strictly speaking inaccurate. But if a sick predator happens to be black or brown, they ought to be in jail just the freaking same. I'm not saying innocent people should be in jail of any race. No, I don't think any innocent white people should be in jail. But no, it doesn't sound reasonable to me. A black man is abusing a black child, so there should be less. What? Hold on. A black man is abusing a black child, so there should be less consequence on him than if it was a white man abusing a white child or a white man abusing a black child. It don't make sense to me. And Adam's question is this not reasonable to you? Does not sound reasonable to me. I'm going to let y'all listen to it again, but I see a lot of ones in the chat. It don't sound reasonable to y'all either. This is sick. Sick.
Automatically starts explaining, but they're telling me I'm protecting.
No,
now watch as these two people
Brandon,
protect and try to minimize this situation.
Does this not sound reasonable to you? Concerns raised by some Democrats included potential unintended consequences, such as disproportionately targeting young adults ages 18 to 20 in consensual relationships with older teens 16 to 17.
Can you stop there?
Or potentially impacting minority and LGBT individuals differently. I mean, does that not seem like a reasonable concern?
Guys, do you hear the protection of pedophiles?
I do.
What? No, let me ask you.
Brandon the Boochie the Bear, I hear it. I hear the protection. I also rebuke you in the name of the one true God. You got your tenfold coming back for whatever weird shit you did with that book. But I agree with him on this one. I completely agree. They are protecting sickos by coming up with all these side of the street ass thing. What about the 18-year-olds that are with the 17-year-old? There's already laws in place for that. But if the 18-year-old is trying to purchase S from the 17-year-old, they ought to sit in jail too. Everybody knows when you turn 18, now I'm an adult now, I can go to the club now, I can Everybody knows that. These people are sick. It's an illness. It's an illness. They are nasty. They are nasty. That's my opinion. You're not going to change it. The fact that they are going so hard, they're so passionate about it. What the hell? Now, if he was sitting there again, if he was sitting there going, well, I could see how that law could possibly be used in a way that could disproportionately affect minorities, but I would need to see the facts and figures first before I was just clamoring my opinion around. No, that's not what he said. He's screaming. Adam, the supposedly neutral moderator, has completely dropped the mask. Completely dropped the mask. He's no longer moderating. He's now screaming and arguing. If I'm Boochie, I'm getting up and leaving. But I would never go to this degenerated place. Never in my life. If I'm over there, call the cops. Call LAPD. Hopefully they do something for the first time ever. Because I got to get out of there. If I ever find myself in there, somebody's forcing me. Send the National Guard. Send the Department of Homeland Security. Send Interpol. I'm stuck against my will if I'm over there.
Makes you sound like an idiot.
No, it doesn't.
Obviously, neither of us are interested in protecting pedophiles.
Well, then,
so when you say that, you sound like a fucking clown to both us
you
and
sound like a fucking clown because you are insinuating that
you sound like a fucking idiot because you're refusing to pay attention to any kind of nuance regarding this issue.
You're reading something.
We're reading the whole issue. You have the information in front of us, and you're trying to shove a false narrative down our throats.
Okay, so
and
now
I would
the moderator,
Brandon, I would appreciate if you would argue in a more
the moderator is now
we just read
the
what the actual context
the moderator is now debating for the debate. The other debate.
You're lying, bro, and you've been lying since the beginning of this debate. And it's like if I wasn't calling you out for lying, then we would just be listening to you lie this whole time.
Listen, man,
you're arguing in favor of your ability to lie.
You're gonna see who protects pedophiles.
That right there, you putting that kind of accusation on Bruce and I is ridiculous.
That's what he said first. All right, man.
That's what it looks like to me. From where I'm sitting 2 days later at my house in Princeton, it looks exactly like they're trying to protect pedophiles. That's what it looks like to me. That's what it looks like to me. A lot of ones in the chat is what it looks like to y'all. So really what's ridiculous is Adam's behavior, not us noticing it. What's really ridiculous is Adam screaming and squawking when he is supposed to be the neutral moderator of this debate, screaming and squawking, screeching even. Screeching. Damn near within Boochie the Bear's personal space, knowing he's got a gray belt in jiu-jitsu or something. I don't think he really can wield too much, but they are the ones who are refusing to listen to the nuance. The nuance isn't a relation. The nuance is that this doesn't apply to relationships or sexual interactions. It applies to the people trying to purchase them. And I'm looking at these two turning red fools right here. And it looks like they would like it if their friends got to continue to purchase 16 and 17-year-olds for us. Is it because maybe Nova's fitting to be 16 and they want to be, I don't know. Okay, I would hate to speculate on something like that. But Nova turned 16 about right now. I don't remember if her birthday's the end of November or beginning of December, but she's about to be 16. ADAM22 Grand Mason has very prominently featured her, I would say advertised her, in my opinion, on his podcast, on his platform with millions and millions of viewers. So I've also seen her post a vlog where a man walks up to her and asks, let me give you $60 for da-da-da-da-da. That's solicitation. Sounds to me like Adam is trying to protect the people who are abusing Nova. That's what it does sound like to me. I'm not going to change my mind on it either. It's what it sounds like to me. It's my opinion I'm allowed to have.
This guy never saw a day where he wasn't biased. Listen, no 16, no 14, no one between the age of 14 and 18 who is in a romantic relationship is buying someone for sex.
Nobody even suggested.
Can we go back? Can we please scroll back to the top and look at the mental gymnastics that they both have to do? The bill makes it a felony to buy someone who is underage for sex.
So and just to spell this out more, since you're intentionally disregarding it, do you think that a guy who's 18 that is in a relationship with a 17-year-old should become a felony automatically?
That is not what this law says. That is not what the law says. Adam has so much half a perk journeys in his past. Something either is wrong with his frontal lobe. Certainly he's possessed with a legion of demons, and I rebuke every one. Every single last one I rebuke down. He is so degenerated and immoral and stupid, lacking in the frontal lobe, lacking in all the lobes, temporal, occipital, I mean, the whole thing. The corpus callosum is probably degenerated. It probably looks like a ditch. Dehydrated. That is what the title says, and that is what the article says. But this loser freak, and not in the good way, degenerated buffoon is screeching and screaming at Boochie the bear, who I don't even like, got me up on a Saturday morning, putting Boochie the bear on, who I rebuke, who's also possessed. He's the one who's intentionally missing the point. And it's, in my opinion, men like that need to be locked the F up because they're sick in the effing head. That's what he said about me. Women like me need to be locked up. Women like me need to be locked up because why? Because women like me stand up for the vulnerable. For people that he calls 304s, degenerate, to people that he calls what did he call crackheads, people that he calls street urchins, him and his friend Mark Lata. I stand up for those people because they are the people. No more, no less than Adam Grand Mason. He's out there in their space. He's over there on Figaro or Skid Row or wherever his stupid ass podcast is set up. He's in their home, judging them, calling them names. They want women like me locked up because I'll call the LAPD and say, hey, I found child porn against my will, got traumatized by it. Can you do something about it? I'll call the FBI and say, Adam Grand Mason put a little girl on his podcast who's now being abused by adults. That's why he thinks women like me need to be locked the F up. But I think he needs to be locked the F up, just like his political family members who commit fraud and get pardoned by Bill Clinton. His daddy's friends with Bill Clinton. Y'all, don't forget that. Don't forget that. Maybe it's these Democrat lawmakers ADAM22 Grand Mason has always been put in place to protect. Oh, it ain't because he has a good eye for talent. I can tell you that. His no jumper's fitting to go broke. So why is it that this white man from Nashua, New Hampshire is the #1 podcast, for hip hop for the years that it was? Is it possible it has something to do with the powerful political connections that his daddy has going all the way up to Bill Clinton? Because I'm telling you right now, if a Republican or a Democrat did this stuff, I'm coming down on you. Why is it the case that Adam does seem so beholden to these freaks? These sick fucks, they happen in this one particular story to be Democrats, state level. Why does he have this type of loyalty where he's not even reading the article? The article does say what Brandon the Boochie the Bear is saying. It's not about a relationship. It's not about a relationship between a 17 and an 18-year-old. It's about it's about paying for it. Paying for illegal acts. Statutory R. It's sick. It makes me feel sick.
What is the concern that they raised about?
Bro, if you go back to the top of the bill is for people who attempt to give money to buy an underage person for sex. If you
Concerns raised by some Democrats include potential unintended consequences, such as disproportionately targeting young adults.
And there's already
How can you target?
You have a fake version of this that you're really determined to shut down. And you sound like an asshole. Brandon, you sound like a huge asshole. You're going to want to move past this. I have a question for you.
The one who sounds like a huge asshole is the moderator who's supposed to be being neutral right now. And this moderator, by the way, has a daughter. Now, he says before, about Tanea, like, isn't it just normal and natural to get your kid into the family business? Like, if that's Tanea's family business, well, what's his family business? Think about that for a second. Think about it. I don't appreciate his tone. Look, this guy right here, this is same. This is what I think. This is about how I would rate his current performance in this debate. Just that. Yeah, look at this man's face. What in the brain damage hell? I need that for a thumbnail. It's sick. We live in a sick and disgusting world. And this is another one of the reasons I don't go to LA, because this is how the people over there think. This man is sick. And shout out to my cousin Neem. My cousin Neem does not think like this. And he does not like that I don't want to go to LA, but this This is the coolest podcast, like one of the biggest LA podcasts. They're screaming at a man who wants to protect 16 and 17-year-old children. Calling him an asshole, calling him wrong and stupid because he's saying you shouldn't be able to purchase S from a 16-year-old. At a loss.
Trump, if he pardons Ghislaine Maxwell.
That's what you need to understand.
No, answer my question. Answer the question. Answer the question.
Look how mad he's getting. Look how mad he's getting. Look how mad he's getting.
This is me attempting to moderate you for the first time.
Is that up on the screen for them to read?
Brandon,
is that up on the screen for them to read?
There's laws.
Why are you here if you're not going to answer the question?
Listen,
will you continue to support Trump if he pardons Ms. Maxwell?
I'm going to answer as soon as I make my point. You're not getting anything else until I make my point.
What is the point that you don't think you've already made?
The point that I'm making is that if you scroll up, the bill is to make buying minors for sex illegal, a felony. You guys are saying that two people who are in a young romantic relationship will be hurt by that crime.
They won't.
No one in a relationship is buying the other for sex. So how are they going to be impacted?
I don't understand how you could be this fucking stupid.
You're stupid. Look at the top of the thing you just read it.
That were raised by Democrats were about.
He's the stupid one. He is the stupid one. He is the stupid one. Adam is the stupid one in this scenario, and he is screeching that Brandon the Boochie the Bear is the stupid one.
Review of the solicitation of sex.
If we were,
and Democrats
you don't seem to understand that it's kind of amazing.
And
can you scroll back up to the top?
No, we're doing
Democrats
that.
follow.
We want to look. Will you stand by Trump? No, we're just sick of hearing you.
No, you're
fucking
sick.
nitpicky
You're
details.
sick. You're sick because you lost.
Comparing that bill to the Epstein.
You're sick because you lost.
No, you lost. You doubled.
Why would a person who is 14 years old?
Respectfully, we're going to ask you to move past this because you just got obliterated. We would like to ask you.
I bet they are going to ask him to move past it because Adam probably sat there. Adam probably sat there and actually read what that article said. Realized he couldn't really argue against it, but maybe that it would mess with his bottom line. Maybe. I don't know what degenerated, demonic factors might come into play when someone like ADAM22 Grand Mason from Nashua is defending the indefensible to such a passionate degree. And it sounds to me, he just wanted to get in an argument with Brandon the Boochie the Bear over it because that man, that other one over there, the little boy sitting in the corner, basically in the cuck chair, he ain't talking. He's just making faces at this point. So really, it almost seemed like Adam just wanted to scream and screech at Boochie the Bear because Adam can't bring in the views without someone like a Boochie the Bear. And again, I don't like that man. I don't like Boochie the Bear, but he is right. He is right. He's not only right morally in this one situation with this one thing, and he may not be hard enough on Trump. He may be a political, leaning more toward this way and that way. I don't know his opinions about it. I haven't heard, but he's being accused in this debate of not coming for Trump this hard. And it's like, well, look, listen, release the files. Release the files. Hard drives needs to be checked. I do not want to do an interview with Lil Pump. No, thank you. But I will, I'll react to one. Hate how they talk over each other. In this particular situation, Brandon the Boochie Bear is right, not only morally, ethically, but also in his interpretation of the article. The article does not contemplate relationships. It contemplates solicitation. And if you are in a relationship with a 16-year-old and you're 18 and you're paying the 16-year-old for S, you should be convicted of a felony. Paying for S is solicitation. Now, apparently, because like I said, this was 6-7 months ago. It was in May. So apparently, like some type of law, has been put in, some type of compromise has been put into place, but I don't really have reason to believe that it was a good thing. Like there should not have been a compromise. The compromise shouldn't have existed. Oh, you're trying to purchase blank from a 16 or 17-year-old? No. Felony. Fight about it in court. I don't give a flying rat's ass if the pervert criminal happens to be of a, quote, minority race, which white is now minority, so we need to start making sure we're using right words for things. I don't care if the pervert happens to not be white. If the pervert's white, it should be felony. If the pervert's black, it should be felony. If the pervert is brown, it should be felony. If the pervert is biracial, triracial, quadracial, or more, should be felony. If the victim is white, if the victim is black, if the victim is brown, if the victim is, then it should still be felony. Why are we considering race? Why are we considering race in making a child protection law? Oh, some cultures are just more likely to abuse children. No, no, no. I don't care if the pervert is LGBTQ or straight. Pervert goes to jail. And if you're found guilty, I don't even think it should be, automatic felony. Y'all know I think it should be death penalty. Firing squad and put the little girl's daddy with one of the guns. That's how I feel about it. Y'all don't need to put me in charge because things would shape up quick. Thanos right there down Figueroa if they put me in charge. Shout out to Leonin gifting 5 memberships. Thank you so much for that. If you got one of those memberships, make sure that you say thank you. Thank you to Hiker Mom becoming a member and to Grace all over the place becoming a member. I think you might have been a member already. I think firing squad. You know how firing squad works? It's like 5, 8, 12, 9 police with rifles. And one of them got a bullet. Nobody knows where the bullet came from that got him or her, the criminal. I like firing squad. Put the little girl's uncles, put the little girl's daddy, put a couple sharpshooters, put a bullet in 2, 3 of their guns and let it rip. I know this video is going to be demonetized and I don't even actually care. Facts ain't defamation. Neither are opinions. I might see y'all later from a logger. Love you, mean it. Okay, bye.